What's up guys, John Kai, the Hawaii guy. How are you? Thank you for joining me. I gotta admit, I've been slacking. It's been about a month since my emails have been going out, and the only excuse I have is I've been slammed. I've been busy. I mean, it's crazy. The market has just exploded here in Las Vegas, and if you've read any of the headlines, you are well aware that this is a freaking hot market. It's crazy. And as an agent, I have been so busy. You should see my text messages. I have so many conversations going on right now. The market's a great time to be in the market if you are a somewhat experienced agent. I haven't been doing this for 20 years. I have been in finance for 25 years. I was a stockbroker for many years. So my knowledge of the market, the economy is pretty strong, probably stronger than most. But I've been a real estate agent here in Las Vegas since January of 2018. And I cut my teeth in the first couple of years and I hit my stride and I am slammed. And so I want to share with you some ideas on how you can go about getting your offer accepted in today's very hot, very competitive seller's market. If you have any ideas of coming into the market looking for deals or bargains, get out of here. That ain't happening, okay? Take that and go put it in a pipe and smoke it, because there are no deals. Everything is going for a premium. Everything is selling above list price. So if you intend to put in lowball offers, don't even come to me. Don't even go to any real serious agent, because you're not gonna be taken seriously and you're gonna embarrass yourself. And as an agent, I would never take on a client that's looking to get deals right now. Get out of here with that mindset. It's crazy, okay? Let me give you some ideas and give you some numbers. First, and I'll put all the numbers up here on the screen. First of all, as we speak right now, there are currently 2,400 homes available for sale on the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service. Last week alone, 865 homes were sold. So if you take 2,400, divide that by 865, let me do my math. I only look smart. I do need a calculator. So 2,400 divided by 865, that's 2.75 weeks. That's the supply. A normal market in Las Vegas would be about 2 to 3 months of supply, would be about a balanced market where you have enough buyers and sellers out there competing for attention. But we have a 2.75, less than 3 weeks supply. Folks, that's crazy. Okay, lenders are busy and they're pulling their hair out because they're slammed. Agents are busy, escrow agents are busy, title companies are busy, inspectors are busy, appraisers are busy. Everybody's slammed right now because it's that hot of a market. I think you get the point. One headline in the Las Vegas Review-Journal said, "A full price offer is a weak offer." And ain't that the truth? You cannot come into this market expecting to look at a house that's listed at $400,000 and expect that you will get your offer accepted if you offer the list price of $400,000. You're gonna have to come in strong, folks. You have to have the mindset that this is war. If you wanna win out there, you have to go into this with the mindset that this is war. I need to have all my ammunition, meaning I need my money right and tight. I need to be pre-approved. I need to make sure that I have liquidity. I need to make sure that I'm able and willing to pay above list. And should the appraisal come in and I'm substantially below the number that we have offered and we are in contract for, I have to fill in that gap if I want to make this deal happen. So your mindset has to be right. And you need to be working with the right agent who can help you navigate the waters. Here's a case in point. If you're a first-time home buyer, boy, that's tough, okay? FHA loans, Federal Housing Authority, FHA loans, generally speaking, are for first-time home buyers who are looking to get into a property with the lowest amount of down payment required. And these loans are great in a normal market condition. An FHA loan, the maximum limit for this is $356,362. So FHA will guarantee loans up to that amount, $356,362. So let's put it into real numbers. If you are a first-time home buyer, you're gonna use an FHA loan, make sure you get pre-qualified. Come talk to me, I'll put you in the right direction. But $350,000 is your target. And you are going to go in and purchase a home at that price point. First of all, you're gonna need to understand you need down payment, which is gonna be 3.5% of that dollar value. and you need closing costs, which will generally run you about 2.5% of the price of the home. So let me put it into real numbers. Okay, so $350,000, 3.5% down payment, that's $12,250. You need to have that ready and liquid. Now, closing costs, that's another additional expense when it comes to transacting a home purchase. You need to come to the table with 2.5% of that price. That's an average, okay? So that's another $8,750. All total, you'll need $21,000 in the bank ready to be wired over, transferred over before you can close on the deal. $21,000. That's in a normal market. Now in this market, if you go out there and look at a home that's priced at $350,000, you're not paying $350,000, folks. You are going to pay $360,000, maybe even $365,000. In other words, $10,000 to $15,000 more than the asking price. That's about 5% to, I don't know what the percentage is. Again, I only look smart. Let me do my math. Let me use my calculator. So if you're coming in at $15,000 over the $350,000 list price, that is 4.25%. So that's on average what you need to be prepared to do when you're coming in and buying a home. And if you are paying over list, remember that any gap between your contracted price and the final appraised value, you will have to fill with cash that you bring to the table, in addition to the down payment of 3.5% and closing costs. Now in the old days, the better days, when it was a balanced market, buyers could ask sellers to participate and contribute toward buyer closing costs. It wouldn't be uncommon to ask a seller to contribute $2,500 toward buyer's closing costs, especially in a balanced market. Now, if we're in a buyer's market, if it's flipped from this situation, you could ask for the world and probably get it. But we are not in a buyer's market, we are in a seller's market. I hate to repeat myself, but in this type of environment, the seller can ask for the world. And they are, and they're getting it. Case in point, if you're gonna write up an offer, as a buyer's agent, the buyer's agent has to know this stuff. The buyer will go in and take a look at the price of the home, and then if they're doing their homework and they're smart, they're gonna take a look at all the recent sales that took place in the community you're thinking about purchasing. Once they get those list of homes, they're gonna look at the price and compare it to the list price. How much more were buyers paying for homes in that neighborhood? Was it 2% above list, 3, 5, 10% above list? That gives you a gauge as to where your offer needs to come in. Okay, the second thing that buyer's agent should be doing is contacting the other agents that represented the buyers of homes that recently sold in that neighborhood. I do that because I want to get a feel for what the appraisal value of those homes were, so I can get an idea of what this particular property that my clients might be interested in might come in at in terms of an appraisal value. Now, appraisal values are always increasing in this type of market environment. So it's always going to be based upon recent sales and recent comps. So you can expect that you'll get some kind of bump up in the appraisal value from a week ago or a month ago for sure. But those are just some of the things that your agent needs to be doing on your behalf if they're representing you as a buyer. Now, to get your contract or your offer noticed and accepted, it's very important that your agent communicate with the selling agent. Call that agent up, find out what's going on. What is the motivation of your seller? What is the timeline that your seller is looking for? Perhaps they need to stay in the home for another 3 months because they are waiting for the home that they bought that is still being built and it's not yet ready for completion. But in the meantime, they still need to live somewhere. So maybe that's a negotiation point. Your agent needs to have a conversation with the seller's agent, just because information is power. The more information you have, the more you can negotiate from a position of strength. So that's some of the things that you can do as a buyer to make sure that your offer is at least well received. Of course, in this environment, you have to waive some contingencies. And one of the most common contingencies waived is the appraisal contingency. Now, the appraisal contingency in a normal market condition provides you, the buyer, with an out. So let's say you go in and you're looking at a home that's listed at $500,000. You offer $525,000, so you're gonna pay $25,000 above list price. Today's market, agents are waiving the appraisal contingency. They're telling the seller that my buyer will purchase this home no matter what. We're gonna buy this home for $525,000. Even if the appraised value comes back at $500,000, my buyer is committing to paying the extra $25,000 out of pocket. So in addition to the down payment, closing costs, the buyer is coming up with another $25,000 to close that deal. That's a common occurrence here in today's market, the waiver of appraisal contingencies. That's a mindset that you have to be prepared with as you go into battle when you're looking for a home in today's market. Another thing that some agents do, depending upon the strength of the buyer, depending upon the liquidity of the buyer, they might even waive the due diligence contingency or the home inspection contingency. I don't like to do that. Even if my buyer is strong, I don't want to put my buyer in a position where they're buying a lemon. You know, you never know. I mean, you want to have the home inspected. You want the inspector to go in and take a look at everything from top to bottom, all the way around the property, making sure if there's a pool that everything's in good operating condition, or if there's some work that needs to be done, how much will that potentially cost? What about the HVAC system? We live in Las Vegas, we're coming up on summer season. You gotta make sure that the AC works. Last thing you want is for your buyer to move into a home and the AC is on the brink and they are sweating and mad. Last thing I want as an agent is to have a mad, pissed off client because of the AC not working, all right? So I will never waive the due diligence contingency, but some buyer agents and some buyers are doing so. So those are some of the things. Of course, a clean offer, a clean contract is what every agent wants. That means don't handwrite this thing, type it out, make sure everything's spelled out and leave no blanks. Put NA or 0 if there's any blanks on the contract. Tighten up the timelines, instead of 5-7 days for EMD deposit, maybe make it 3 days for EMD deposit, make it 5 days or less for initiating the loan process, making sure that the loan gets approved within 30 days, tightening things up so that the seller is more comfortable with the idea that this property is going to sell. Make sure that your agent is also communicating with everybody. Over communicate. That's my mantra. If I'm talking to the seller's agent or the buyer and the lender, depending upon what the conversation is, I will include people in the emails. So whenever I'm communicating with the seller's agent, I'm always including the lender on the email chain, CCing the lender, making sure that everybody's on track. Once we get into contract, I make sure that we're communicating with the lender, the escrow agent, and the seller's agent, putting everybody on the same page. It's very critical. That way there's no mistakes, there's no slip-ups. You got enough people looking at the deal, so if something falls through the cracks, somebody's catching it. When I do get into a contract or do submit an offer, I will contact the seller's agent immediately. I'm not gonna send over a contract without any pre-call discussion. Last thing an agent needs is to receive an offer out of the blue, not knowing anything about this offer, not even speaking to the agent. And let me tell you, there are some buyer agents out there, the rookies, the really poor agents, the bad ones that are doing that. They're just writing up contracts, sending them out, hoping that something sticks. That's not the way to go about doing this. You have to have a strategic plan when you go into an offer situation. So I like to have a conversation with the agent. I like to feel them out. I like to get an idea of how many offers they've already received on the property. Are they expecting any more? What is the number? What's it gonna take to put my buyer's offer on the top of the list? Now, they're not gonna tell you the exact number, but I can feel them out. So for example, if I have permission from my buyer, I might throw a number out. If we're thinking about offering, go back to the example of a $350,000 home. If we're thinking about offering $360,000, and instead of asking for seller credit to buyer for close of escrow, we're gonna do buyer credit to seller for the seller's escrow costs, closing costs. So I might say, okay, we're thinking about coming in at $360,000 with perhaps $3,000 credit to seller toward closing costs. How does that sound? Where does that fit? And if I get it's all right, then I know that we need to come in stronger. But if I get wow, that's a really strong offer, I like that. Wow, your buyer's willing to do that? Whoa, I know that we got an offer that's about to be accepted if we come in strong. I also know that maybe we have overshot the mark, so I don't have to come in with that high of a number. Maybe I can dial it back a bit. That gives me more information to help my client get the best price in this competitive environment, and more importantly, to get into contract. That's critical. So again, if you are looking to work with somebody out there, make sure that they are touching all these bases. I did one time, let me give you an example. I did a Houdini close with a seller's agent. I went into contract. I was about to go into contract, so I called the seller's agent and I said, hey, we got an offer. It's a strong one. Are you ready? He said, yeah, let me know what you got. House was priced at $425 was the list price. We're coming in at $435, okay? And we're thinking about adding $5,000 towards seller's closing costs. That's helpful because that's money in the seller's pocket, okay? That's a net check to the seller because that's money that they don't have to deduct from the proceeds, okay? When I said that, the agent was really excited about that offer. I knew right then that, hey, we might be overshooting the mark here. So let me give him some time, let him cool his jets for a bit, talk to my buyer, make sure that we're all on the same page, went back to the selling agent and said, dude, I am so sorry, man. I was so excited. I got so excited with this offer. I thought we had something going on. And he's like, he was bummed. He thought I was gonna cancel. I said, you know, I said $435 plus the 5, which would be like $440 total. I was wrong, dude. It's $430 plus the 5, $435. Is that still okay? He said, oh yeah, it's good. Write it up. I saved my client $5,000. $5,000. I saved that client $5,000, which is fantastic. Good for them, good for me, and still good for the seller because they're getting over the list price, and the seller agent looks like a hero because he's telling his seller, his client, that you're gonna put more money in your pocket when it's all said and done because the closing cost credit goes directly to you, Mr. Seller. So the seller was happy, the seller's agent is happy, my buyer is happy, I'm happy, and we're in contract. Those are some of the things that you need to do as a buyer's agent in today's market. So again, folks, I'm sorry for being remiss and not sending out my emails. Again, I've been slammed. That's a good thing. The blessing is that the referrals from you are coming in. This email, the social media marketing, the name recognition is starting to build and get out there. So if you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell or invest right now, but you gotta be a smart investor. Don't come in here trying to get deals. But if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, moving out of state, coming to Las Vegas and looking for an agent, make sure you let them know that there's a guy your friend, your guy, John Kai, the Hawaii guy. Aloha folks, John Kai, the Hawaii guy with Urban Nest Realty, thanking you once again for listening and checking out this video. Need information? Check me out on the scroll over here. I'm your guy, John Kai, the Hawaii guy. Aloha.